The millionaire widower's twins couldn't sleep until the new black nanny did something unthinkable. When a grieving billionaire hired a quiet, soft-spoken black nanny for his troubled twins, no one expected her to change their lives forever, especially not with what she did one stormy night that made the entire nation gasp. Ever since his wife Sarah had died during a tragic boating accident 3 years ago, billionaire investment mogul Jacob Whitmore had not been the same. The mansion that once echoed with laughter, music, and the tiny pattering of twin feet was now a cold, silent estate perched on a Vermont cliffside, overlooking a sea that only brought back memories of what he had lost. The twins, Oliver and Olivia, were only 5 when it happened. Now at 8, they were ghostly shadows of the vibrant children they used to be. They couldn't sleep through the night, often waking up screaming for their mother or crying into the arms of the night nurses who never lasted more than a month. Jacob had tried everything: expensive therapists, hypnotists, emotional support dogs, even a personal child psychiatrist who lived in the guest house for 3 months. But nothing worked. The twins refused to talk to anyone new, refused to sleep alone, and most nights just stared at the window that overlooked the sea their mother vanished into. Then came her Marla, a quiet, graceful woman from Georgia with calm eyes and skin like bronze polished by the southern sun. She didn't come from a fancy agency. No, she arrived after a handwritten letter reached Jacob's desk, delivered by an old contact of Sarah's charity foundation. "She's not certified, but she's got something no one else does," the letter read. Jacob didn't care anymore. He was desperate. He just wanted his children to sleep. The moment Marla arrived, the entire staff bristled. She was different. Not only because she was Black Witch, in a household that hadn't seen diversity beyond the kitchen staff in years, was already a stir, but because she didn't speak unless she needed to. Her energy wasn't submissive or overly cheerful like the previous nannies. It was calm, still, powerful. And within the first night, Olivia let Marla brush her hair. By the 3rd, Oliver fell asleep with his head in Marla's lap. By the 7th, something else happened, something that made the head butler, Mr. Crawley, secretly call Jacob in the middle of the night. It was just after 2:30 a.m. when Jacob rushed into the nursery after Crawley's call. He found his children in bed, peacefully asleep, no screaming, no crying, just soft breaths and tiny hands wrapped around a worn, tattered blanket that Jacob hadn't seen since his wife died. It was Sarah's favorite shawl. Marla was sitting beside them, humming a song in a language Jacob didn't recognize. "What did you do?" he asked, nearly breathless. Marla looked up, her expression unreadable, and said, "I listened. I saw them, but that wasn't the unthinkable part." The next morning, Jacob found an old locked chest in his late wife's attic studio, unlocked and open. Inside were children's drawings, lullaby sheets Sarah had written but never published, and voice recordings of her singing. None of that had ever been found after her death. The police said it was all lost on the yacht. And yet, here it was. Jacob was stunned. "Where did you find these?" he asked Marla. She stared at the fireplace and softly said, "She told me." Jacob didn't know what that meant, but he let it slide, because the twins had smiled at breakfast for the first time in years. They had talked. Full sentences, laughter. It was like a spell had broken, but there was more. Strange things began happening. Lights flickering only in the nursery. Olivia waking up with seashells in her hands. Oliver drawing pictures of a woman in a blue dress standing in his dreams. A woman who looked exactly like Sarah. One night, Jacob stayed up watching the baby monitor. Around 3 a.m., he saw Marla walk into the twins' room, kneel between their beds, and begin whispering. He couldn't hear what she said, but the monitor picked up faint weeping, and a third voice, soft, melodic, unmistakably Sarah's. That was the night he confronted her. "What are you doing to my children?" Jacob demanded. "You've brought something into this house." Marla calmly replied, "No, Mr. Whitmore, I didn't bring anything. She never left. You just stopped believing." And then Marla opened her palm and handed Jacob his wife's wedding ring, salt-stained and corroded with sea rust. Jacob fell to his knees. That ring was lost at sea, officially. How did she? Marla didn't say another word. She walked out of the room and said only, "They're ready now." But she's not finished yet. The final night began with lightning. A heavy storm descended over the estate, causing a blackout just after dinner. The generators failed, plunging the house into candlelit darkness. The twins weren't scared. Not anymore. They held Marla's hands as she led them to the old library, once Sarah's favorite room. Jacob followed, shaken and quiet. As they sat in the dark, Marla told a story about a woman who loved the sea, who sang songs the waves understood, and who made a promise to protect her children even beyond death. The twins listened, eyes wide. "Do you want to see her?" Marla asked gently. The twins nodded. Jacob nearly objected, but something in his heart said, "Don't." Marla lit a single white candle and placed it on the grand piano. She told the twins to close their eyes and sing the lullaby they'd been humming in their sleep, the one Sarah wrote but never recorded. They did. Their little voices trembled but rose together, sweet and pure. As they sang, the candle flickered violently. The temperature dropped. Jacob's breath came out in fog. And then, in the corner of the room, just for a second, there she was. Sarah, whole, smiling, glowing with tears in her eyes. The twins opened theirs and said in unison, "Mommy." Jacob stepped forward, but she was gone, vanished. Nothing but silence and the warm scent of lavender she used to wear. The candle went out. Marla stood. "She's at peace now," she said. That night, the twins slept through without a sound. In the morning, Marla was gone. No letter, no trace. Just the shawl folded on the piano and the wedding ring beside it. Weeks passed. The children laughed again. Slept every night. Jacob turned the nursery into a music room, filled with Sarah's songs and a plaque that read, "She never left." Jacob searched for Marla. No agency had her name. No records. Not even the charity that sent her remembered writing the letter. It was as if she never existed. Or maybe she wasn't meant to stay. Maybe she was just the final piece Sarah needed to deliver her last lullaby. One thing was certain. The unthinkable had happened. A house that had once drowned in grief now overflowed with love. And somewhere, on a tide whispered by lullabies, a mother still sang, watching over her children. And the woman who brought her back. If this story touched your heart, let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and